We did our project on the Black Lives Matter movement. In 2012, Trayvon Martin was murdered by George Zimmerman. Trayvon was visiting his father in Sanford, Florida. He was visiting his father after a 10-day suspension from high school due to the discovery of drug residue on his backpack. George is a Latino American police officer who saw Trayvon in the streets with his hoodie on. He suspected that he was a suspicious person and was instructed to not get out of his vehicle by his director. Zimmerman disregards his instructions, and moments later, people in the neighborhood hear gunshots. In 2017, Martin's parents filed a missing persons police report. Zimmerman admits to shooting Trayvon Martin and claiming it was self-defense. Later, during this case, his father went on national television claiming that Martin allegedly threatened and beat Zimmerman to the point where he had no choice to shoot.
In the Trayvon Martin case, tonight, 2 new developments to report. For the first time, we hear from George Zimmerman's father with his own version of what happened to his son. And the paramedics on the scene, we're finally hearing from them too. ABC's Matt Gutman back on the case for us again tonight. Matt.
That's right, David. 2 key moments today. It was the first we'd seen of Robert Zimmerman anywhere. There he was on the stand defending his son, saying it was clear he suffered an all-out assault.
From the looks of my son's injuries, Trayvon Martin's hands were not just on his nose and mouth.
And those howls on the 911 calls that night.
So you think he's yelling help?
Yes. Were you able to identify whose voice it was screaming for help?
Yes, sir.
And whose was it?
It was absolutely George's.
The other key witness today, the EMT who treated Zimmerman after the shooting.
A good 45% of his head and face were covered in blood.
But David, the prosecution said all that's really relevant is that George Zimmerman shot a 17-year-old because he was wearing a hoodie. Now, the judge is expected to rule on bail early next week. Until then, George Zimmerman remains in jail.
Okay, later after his trial, Zimmerman was charged with second-degree murder. Later, the verdict was that he was not guilty. Due to this calling, Trayvon's parents created a foundation that helped spread awareness of the situation that happened. In 2013, Alicia Garza, Patrisse Cullors, and Opal Tometi created the hashtag Black Lives Matter. They built the political will movement, and the hashtag began because of the death of Trayvon Martin in 2012. The hashtag grew in popularity in 2014 after the death of Michael Brown in Missouri and Eric Gardner in New York. Patrisse is on the left, Alicia's in the middle, and Opal's on the right.
Michael Brown. Michael Brown died August 9, 2014. He was shot by Darren Wilson in Ferguson, Missouri. Michael Brown was unarmed. Him and his friend were walking on the road, and Wilson drove by telling them to walk on the sidewalk. After he died, people protested his death. They stated that there is no proof to justify that Wilson shot Brown. Afterwards, no charges were pressed against Wilson. Eric Garner. He was born on September 15, 1970. He died on July 2014. He died in New York City. Daniel Pantanello, a New York City Police Department officer, put him in a prohibited chokehold while arresting him. The NYPD fired Daniel Pantanello after illegal chokehold on Garner.
On May 25th, George Floyd died. Derek Chubani knelt on George Floyd's neck and suffocated him. A memorial dedicated to Floyd was set up in Minneapolis on Chicago Avenue South and 38th Street. That's the picture right there of the memorial. And then the police officer, the former Minneapolis police officer accused of killing George Floyd, will stand trial alone in early March, and judge ruled on Monday, January 12th, 2021.
All these people have fueled the fire that contributed to the Black Lives Matter movement. These deaths have had a large impact on many people in numerous communities. For example, when Floyd died, many people came angry and lashed out. There were riots all over the city. Through all the damage and pain that happened during that time, it brought the community closer together. It helped our city grow better as people.